game into PK's favor, especially considering who's piloting it. It's Paul, man. This guy's absolutely nuts.
Thanks, Goran Mifflin. Finch and Aggro here as we move into a very important game number 1 here between Sanguine and the Knights. Sanguine with a chance.
And feel like they can pick a draft that's just going to outplay them come the later stages of the game. So I think that Sanguine certainly is a team that can snowball games, but just hasn't done it frequently enough up until this point to make teams have to respect that vis-a-vis.
Well, here's that dual lane gank you were looking for, and Neilma takes too much damage too quickly. Zapman still has the leap to get out of there, but your first blood coming courtesy of Panatom on the left-hand side, gifting that over to Netroid.
Movement speed that it provides.
It's a big tool for Mercury, man. Aaron died. It feels like one of those items kind of tailor-made for him because it gives him so many of those stats he needs. But Kivo Fred wants to tussle. He wants a fight. Sends Panatom running a bit, and they'll take these Harpies. But Yarkor, Wrong You all rotating over. Shinto as well. They might not get away with this free as Sonic Boom does cut through Neil Ma. That's enough for Kivo Fred to turn around. Neil drops the Scarab's Blessing on himself, but he's still in a tough spot. Shinto catches him, and his damage proves to be too much. 2 early game kill, able to hold onto the beads. Neil Ma holds onto his ultimate too, so not a lot gained there from Panatom. But they'll head towards this Gold Fury anyway. Yarkor tries to zone Neil Ma out. They're dropping the Dharmic Pillars. Sanguine want to try and find something, and Sanguine are able to grab the Gold Fury, but now Kivo Fred in the backline has that destruction popped already, but doesn't get much. So they drop the Scarab's Blessing, giving Kivo Fred that second life, but Yarkor is patient, waits it out perfectly, and catches Kivo Fred right when the Scarab's Blessing drops off.
Man, that looked like it was going to go well, but Fred used, at this point, upgraded shell for him. Pretty standard against Mercury these days. Just having as many of those as you can is never bad.
Wrong You, I think, with a miscalculation there, suddenly ended up surrounded by Kivo Fred, Neilma on the squad, and that's all they need. The only crack that needs to show for the Knights to start heading over towards the Fire Giant. Kivo Fred takes a ton of damage early, has to fall back. Panatom tries to grab him, but can't get there. So the Knights now, I think, have to reconsider if they want this FG at all. Neilma takes some poke, gets a good abduct though, and Yarkor is stuck in range for plenty of damage coming out from the back line. So let's keep on running as Kivo Fred dives in and gets the double right away. Panatom and Shinto 2 stacked up. And now the Knights can feel pretty comfortable about the FG.
And that's what makes this comp so difficult to deal with. I mean, Kivo jumps in, you can't peel him away, and now back-off damage comes through. What are you supposed to do against all of that? That's going to be a Fire Giant here for PK. Netroid gets 2 towers on the left-hand side.
With it, he is out of there.
And you got through 2 of the lives, Destruction and Undying Love, but Scarab's Blessing's still up and still scary here for PK.
And the Fire Giant's already down. Knights grab it. They've created enough space on the back of that fight. And I think Sanguine went about as patiently about that as they could, and there just wasn't any cracks showing in that armor. Now Wrong You grabbed by the abduct, pulled back in, and he's just too easy of a target. Zapman gets the kill. We may only have 7 total in this game up until now, but this is just what the Knights were looking for.
I think that was something that always stood out to me was how well they understood the big picture in their games, and it continues this year.
That's great work from Neil. He's basically stripped Shinto of all his safety at this point. Scary D tries to capitalize but can't. But what's this? The key piece of the death ball, the key cog, has now fallen all on its own. Panatom finds nothing with that sonic boom, but with Kivo Fred dead, Sanguine are ready to step on the gas. The Dharmic Pillars isolate Scary D. He's been slowed. The Silence Man, he had no options. They force out the Scarab's Blessing from him early, but the Knights are out of there. But this is also perfectly timed. Now Sanguine have the numbers advantage right when the FG is about to spawn.
But they still have pressure on that left side, those fire waves coming in, and PK somehow know that everyone reset.
That's so much damage. Netroid's in trouble now, is able to find some refuge in this alcove, but it's only a moment of time he's buying. Netroid falls the second the Aegis goes down, and that's it for all their advantage. Panatom had to go back to defend that left side wave, and now the Knights can start up the FG relatively easily. Sanguine are on their way in to try and contest it at this point, but Neil Ma can be the zone. Paul steps off at 2. They'll take the fight here instead. Yarkor will be that frontline member for them. He's done a good job so far. But the Knights certainly want more action here. They recognize how low Rongyu is and continue to step forward. A 3-man stun, though, is pretty big. Sanguine do find the answer back with the Dharmic Pillars, and Panatom crushing Zatman.
Paul feeling that difference between Hell and Aphrodite. He could only save one it perfectly in order to really feel like they are in control of this game late game, and we just haven't seen it yet.
Another aggressive Dharmic Pillars from Rongyu. Yarkor drops the dazzling offensive. Panatom's made it to the back, and Zatman does fall early on. Cubo Fred in trouble too! Netroid gets the knockup and the kill. That is huge for the Order side team to have found a way to turn this game around in the late game off another big ultimate from Rongyu. This Sanguine squad, I don't understand how I don't have more faith in them at this point to find a way to get it done. They haven't won anything yet, though, as they start up the Fire Giant fight. The Knights are right back in to try and contest, but Sanguine will be sticking this one. They're going to take the Fire Giant successfully, and the Knights can only watch.
Man, unbelievable that they are in this position now. Scary, Blink, plucked back in. Good Scarab's Blessing, and he'll get reset whether Shinto wants him to or not because of that Eclipse, but that left side Phoenix has already gone back down. Sanguine knows that they have to do something about that wave eventually.
They do, but they have to capitalize on this window as well. It's 2 questions they must answer simultaneously, so they choose the right side Phoenix, and they are burning it quickly. Scary D steps in and dies quickly as well. Maybe Sanguine have a chance for the counter end, but Paul and Cuvo Fred coming up, that combo too strong. Instead, Sanguine elect to back off and try and back in time to defend their base.
Yeah, they'll be able to get it off. I mean, just 2 back-to-back critical mistakes.
Only one who could maybe spring that trap. He is starting to walk out there now and has some ward coverage. I don't think he knows that the whole team is here. Drops Dharmic Pillars once he spots them out, and the Knights are on the full retreat. Zatman leaps away right away. There is the Undying Love. That is extra life number 1, forced out by Sanguine already, and Rongyu still looking for lockdown. There's just not much follow-up yet.
Panatom can get there, and he finds Scary, but only Scary. That's not the target.
Yeah, I don't think so either. It feels like Sanguine now starting to force this fight, but again, Cubo Fred dies instantaneously when he tries to get to the backline. What is going on with this Kali? Cubo Fred is not making it work right now.
Can't happen, man. It just can't happen. I mean, there's a lot of disjoints, a lot of CC from Sanguine. Fred's died 3 times in a row without ulting. You're not winning games when you do that with Kali. You're just not.
We gave them a ton of credit about how they'd be able to execute this late game comp, and weirdly, they've looked better everywhere else this game. Rongyu drops the ultimate again. Yarkor heads to the backline, and Sanguine feel unyielding. Sanguine feel like they're gonna find a way to turn this one around somehow, but Scary D has moved back in. He's pushed back all this aggression from the Order side team, so even with the frenzy, once the Knights show their full strength, and I don't want to make any bones about it, I know the execution hasn't been there, but this is still an uphill battle for Sanguine, right? Now that the fight is fully reset, there's no beads and shell for Paul, but this still isn't easy. They pop the frenzy, they want the Fire Giant, Sanguine able to grab it, Scary D thrown back into the CC chain, takes tons of damage, but what about Yarkor? Sonic Boom hits on the Cubo Fred, but he's able to keep right on going. They've got him silenced, but they drop the Scarab's Blessing on him too. Anything to keep this late game Kali alive as Rongyu falls as well, but Panatom gets the backline, gets Cubo, makes the double kill as he finds Zatman as well. Scary D falls as Panatom gets the late game triple, and Sanguine will not be going home this easy.
Panatom might be finding himself a quadra kill right here, and Sanguine are going to pull this game back from the brink and beat Pittsburgh Knights. Then a game that I thought might just be wrapped up. A great performance from them. Panatom just has an incredible game on this Mercury. It is really the other late game hyper carry assassin that's in the meta right now. There was a lot of pressure on him to outperform Fred in the late game, and boy, was it not even close in terms of who had the bigger impact.
And I want to give a ton of credit to my man Rongyu as well. I think he played this Ganesh about as well as you could ask for in the late game, man. What a huge win for the Sanguine boys here in game number 1. Perhaps one of their biggest individual game wins ever. Not in
survivability in lane. PK playing a lot more standard this time. Maybe they can run away with an early lead and actually push it into something that makes an imprint in the late game.
Thanks, Gore and Mifflin up there, guys. It is still game number 2 here with Finch and Aggro, as Sanguine, sort of as they alluded to on the desk just now, kind of got away with the robbery, it feels like, in game number 1. So the Knights make some adjustments coming into game number 2. Cubo
Fear no evil to find early kills.
Right, basically a slow on his 1 is about what he offers for CC, but Panatom is happy to take up the mantle. Netroid gets first blood for Sanguine as there is an early gank onto this pushed up duo lane. Have plenty of pre-level 5 gank potential, and obviously once the Typhoon is there and he gets to the late game, he's hard to beat, but Cubo Fred wants some revenge. Fear no evil following with the Sacred Monkey Bounce, and oh no, Cubo Fred's rough game 1 continues into game 2.
It feels like
right. A little bit of a ball drop in game 1, really, I think would be fair to say, and maybe feeling like he needs to make a bit of a hero play in game 2 on the back of it. Now it's Panatom trying to force some gank action to happen. They look for the CC chain. Zatman with the turnaround axe almost saves his life. He must have absolutely not had the leap at that point, but it just wasn't enough. That's the 3rd kill now for Sanguine in this early game. Give the Sanguine guys the individual credit they may have earned, because we've watched these other players do it so often, but now they're here to collect on their earlier gank. Scary D is pulled right back in. The Whirlwind of Rage and Steel is too much, and Sanguine get 4 unanswered.
Man, it's just all over the map, too. I mean, you've got Fred who dies in the mid.
At this point, Cubo knows he's not letting anything else slip away. He's willing to use it, but Panatom is going to try and catch him while he's backing. Underneath the tier 2 tower, though, he's still safe, and Cubo Fred will get to back.
A little surprised that Rongyu led with the 1, but doesn't matter because as soon as Cubo backs, Neil Ma is going to join him, but the fast way.
But here's the Paul effect. He just goes aggressive, even up against 2 members, and gets a much-needed kill to slow down Panatom. Does put the wall back up and forces Shinto out, but Rongyu with the ultimate has enough damage. Paul will eventually pay for his crimes. But I don't know, Aggro. Mentally, it might be worth it just to see Panatom die there.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, Fred really isn't that far behind as Netroid up 2 levels, bullying Zap out, Beads aggressively to find the solo kill. No problem whatsoever for Netroid.
Yeah, you think Netroid's comfortable playing Heimdall? Yeah, especially up against a down Uller, but certainly looking good there, bringing out every last bit. Forget just how much damage Thoth has the potential to do, especially when there's reliable setup. But Scary D could be in trouble again. Cubo Fred is lurking. I think that they knew that this aggression was on the way, and Sanguine are all in on the dive, so Cubo Fred puts the ultimate perfectly on the back of the tower, but Whirlwind of Rage and Steel hits both, gets the kill on the Scary, and pulls Cubo Fred back. The River's Rebuke from Neil Maul does cut off the aggression, but Yarkor is right back in with that Kakulin and does enough to make sure that everybody else makes it out alive.
Man, Rongyu plays that fight nearly perfectly. I mean, he just holds his buttons for the right moment, doesn't rush it.
It's Bees for Neil Ma in that slot as he's worried about some of this extra control from Sanguine, probably Rongyu in particular. But this could be good. Netroid has to use the beads to get away from Cubo Fred with the Fear No Evil. He was trying to do his purple, but the whole squad of the Knights are here as Netroid baits everybody perfectly. But a great Riptide is even better in response, so Rongyu comes through, grabs Neil Ma, throws him underneath the tier 2 tower. Panatom gets Zatman. Neil Ma will certainly die back there at that positioning, and Cubo Fred is low as well, and where can he run on the wrong side of the map? Shinto gets the kill, Panatom gets a double, and suddenly Sanguine are cleaning up everywhere.
Man, if Netroid had saved that Aegis just a little bit longer, he could have been being on the world stage for sure, but that potential is definitely there.
How many times have Sanguine caught members of the Knights just kind of standing around? Zatman has the beads and Aegis Force back, is in the waiting grasp of Netroid for another kill, as Sanguine clearly the team right now that's setting the pace here for this match. The Knights obviously were not expecting it.
No, and now another reinitiation. Blink in from Yarkor. He's about to transform. Scary, nowhere for him to go except on a trip around the world. Your first-class ticket bought by Netroid.
Big Fear No Evil, though, from Cubo Fred, but I don't know how much it's going to matter. Yarkor does die. Cubo Fred gets 1 return kill, but Panatom goes hunting to find the kill into Cubo. But Paul misses that last hit from the evade and punish, and isn't going to be able to get enough from the hieroglyphic assault. Scary D moves in, does get the kill into Panatom, but is immediately traded back out. But this is big that Pittsburgh Knights are able to find anything, and Paul gets the max range kill there onto Netroid. Sanguine might have got a little bit ahead of themselves diving quite this far.
And Zap, playing around his low respawn timer perfectly, is here right back and ready to go on the tier 2 tower defense. Hits off those 3 shots. It's really easy for you to just start a team fight significantly healthier than your opposition.
Looks like Sanguine are going to go with the route of trying to force this Fire Giant. They're burning it quick. It's down to half. Panatom, Rongu, and Yarkor are in position to set up a front line, but they've dropped the Fire Giant for now. They really are putting all this eggs in winning this team fight basket. It's working so far. Rongu gets Neil Ma. Shinto's somewhat celebratory Taiko drums has been expended as well. So a lot used, but they do get that kill onto Neil Ma, and they come right back to fire. And the Knights are done with it, man. They're heading right back to base.
Yeah, Neil dying that quickly. I mean, he had beads, didn't use them that entire. It's just like there's no world where you can hit him, and where he can't hit you. Like he just always has the upper hand on those Phoenix Sieges. But maybe we just outright one-shot him, and then we don't have to worry about it. That's a good plan, Panatom.
Yeah, not bad. That relieves a lot of the pressure I was just worried about if we could take Paul out of the equation early. So now Sanguine could freely push down this tier 2 tower in left. And it looks like even though right side Phoenix is exposed, they want this more valuable left Phoenix, and Knights don't have their best tool for defense.
Just impossible when Paul is by red. I mean, he's just dead as soon as he steps up that far, just like Zap is by being anywhere on the map.
Wow, Sanguine are playing clean right now, aren't they? They get to both backline carries really before the fight has even started. That should make their work on the left side Phoenix so much easier at this point. They do burn that Phoenix down pretty low. Trying to step forward is Scary D, but he gets pulled back into, has to use that Fatal Strike just to get out of there defensively. So Sanguine start to surge forward. They're not ready for an end call yet. They're still a tier 2.
And let this left side Phoenix respawn while you're walking up mid lane on a tier 2. That doesn't matter. This puts the most pressure on somebody to clear really far away from you as you're sieging right.
Rongu does find beads with his ultimate, but not much else. Shinto has to use the Thunder Crash to get away from the River's Rebuke, but there are minions already pouring in and starting to smack this Titan. Sanguine, though, still in position to start regrouping and resieging the right side Phoenix. It's low, still hasn't fallen. Cubo Fred's Fear No Evil does hit just about everyone. Shinto makes it out of there, but Cubo Fred continues the chase and gets the kill. Yarkor, though, shuts down Zapman. Cubo Fred falls as well. The right side Phoenix is down, and this fight pretty heavily starting to favor Sanguine. Scary D just got done with his wild ride, his trip through Muspelheim. I forget exactly all the realms that they send him through, but I know where he's ending, and that's going to be the grave. Sanguine now, with the 4v2 advantage, should be able to just take the Titan.
Yeah, this one, I mean, it isn't that often that Sanguine just steamrolls early, but when they do it well. They ride that momentum well, and this was a good example of just that. Paul's going to make some plays, but ultimately Sanguine has been in control of this game from minute 3, 4, 5,